Okay, think about this for a second. Are you feeling constantly tired, like just drained, no matter how much sleep you get? Or maybe your skin's been acting up, rashes, dryness, things like that. What about joint pain that just sort of lingers? Or even finding your mood dips unexpectedly, feeling low without a clear reason? Ever had a bunch of those things hit you, seemingly out of the blue? Well, what if I told you there might be a common thread, something fundamental that maybe you haven't really considered? Welcome to the deep dive. You've shared some really fascinating material with us today, focusing right in on something absolutely core to your well-being, your gut health.
Absolutely. Yeah, the presentation, it's very visual. It breaks down some pretty complex stuff about the gut, natural solutions into
Sure.
images and short points. Makes it easier to grasp. It really gets you thinking differently about what's going on inside.
Right. And our mission today is to unpack all of that, really get to the heart of it. We want to explore just how deeply your gut affects everything else, maybe uncover connections you hadn't thought of. The presentation kicks off with a real classic piece of wisdom, doesn't it?
Yeah. It does, yeah. It highlights that quote, the greatest wealth is health. So simple, but so true. I mean, think about it. Without good health, everything else is just harder. It really sets the scene for seeing our health as our most valuable thing.
Exactly. And it flows right into that next idea. Your health is an investment, not an expense. I think that's such a powerful way to frame it.
Yeah.
Instead of just reacting to problems, it's about, actively putting effort in before things go wrong.
Hmm.
The presentation even adds that little nudge. Although it will become an expense if you don't take time to invest in it, like pay now with good habits or, well, pay later.
Totally. It's proactive versus reactive. Investing now builds resilience, buffers you against future issues, and frankly, the costs that come with them.
Then we get that famous saying, you are what you eat. We all know it, right?
Right.
But here, it's used to directly link food to gut health. It's that first step. What you put in really matters for that internal ecosystem.
Precisely. It's way beyond just calories or weight. It's about feeding the, well, trillions of microbes down there, keeping things in balance. And that leads to something pretty staggering in the presentation. 60 to 80% immunity system is located in the gut.
That's huge. 60 to 80%. It just makes you rethink everything. Your gut isn't just for digestion. It's like immune system HQ.
Exactly. We think of immunity as being everywhere, but to have the vast majority concentrated right there, it's a real eye-opener. And it goes further, stating 70% of cells needed for a healthy immune system originate in your gut.
So not only is it located there, but the actual building blocks for a strong immune response start in the gut too.
It just hammers home how vital the gut is. It's not passive, it's actively keeping us healthy. And that visual they use, the gut outline, the pie chart showing 70%, it really helps you picture the scale of it, makes it clear how central the gut is.
It really does. Seeing it laid out like that makes a difference. But immunity, that's just one part of the story, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
The presentation then zooms out saying, research over the past 2 decades has revealed that gut health is critical to overall health. It's not just about, occasional indigestion anymore.
Not at all. The last 20 years, the research has exploded. We understand the gut-body connection so much better now. And what's striking is this growing list of conditions, things that seem totally unrelated, but are now being linked back to gut issues. The presentation mentions diabetes, obesity, rheumatoid arthritis, autism spectrum disorder, depression, chronic fatigue syndrome.
Wow, it's a wide range.
It is, and these are major health challenges.
Yeah.
The idea that they might share this common factor in the gut, it's pretty revolutionary.
And it's important they stress this list is by no means complete. Research is ever evolving.
Mm-hmm.
It suggests we're probably just scratching the surface, right? We might find even more links down the line.
Exactly. Our understanding keeps growing, and it changes how we need to think about health and disease. And then comes that really direct statement with this simple drawing of a happy face on a stomach. It all starts in your gut.
That's the core message.
Simple, clear, powerful. Everything circles back.
It really shifts the perspective. Instead of just chasing symptoms, maybe we should look at the gut first for a whole range of things, which leads naturally to the next question. So what does bad digestion mean? And they have that cartoon stomach looking all stressed out. Relatable.
Totally relatable. And the presentation points out that for most of us, we think bad digestion is not a very serious problem. We connect it with, gas, bloating, maybe constipation, heartburn, things that are annoying, uncomfortable, but maybe temporary.
Yeah, you might grab an antacid and kind of forget about it.
Right.
But then the presentation hits you with, but my dear friends, this is only the trailer, not the movie. Huh. That's clever.
It is a great line.
It immediately makes you think, okay, so these common symptoms, maybe they're just hints of
Yeah.
something bigger going on underneath. What's the actual move?
Fantastic analogy. It suggests these minor things could be warning signs for something more systemic. And that's where leaky gut syndrome, LGS, comes in. Introduced as a commonly misunderstood and undiagnosed disease.
Misunderstood and undiagnosed. That definitely makes you pay attention.
Mhm.
The name itself, leaky gut, sounds, well, not good. And the definition is clear. A leak in the wall of the small intestine, allowing undigested food and toxins into the bloodstream.
That's the essence.
Huh.
The small intestine lining is meant to be super selective. Let nutrients in, keep the bad stuff out. With leaky gut, that barrier gets damaged. Tiny gaps form, letting things seep through that shouldn't be in your bloodstream.
And how does this happen? The presentation lists several factors, things like stress, toxins in the environment.
Yep, stress, toxins.
Hmm.
Also mentions undigested food particles, certain drugs, pathogens like bad bacteria. A mix of things.
Right, and all these things can lead to what they call GI inflammation, basically irritation or swelling in the gut lining.
Exactly. That inflammation is key. It weakens those tight seals, those junctions between the intestinal cells.
And this inflammation, it doesn't just stay put, does it? The presentation shows a kind of domino effect. First, food intolerances.
Makes sense. If the barrier's weak, bigger food bits get through.
Yeah.
And when those larger particles hit the bloodstream, the immune system goes, whoa, what's this? And might start reacting to foods you used to eat with no problem.
Okay, so that explains food sensitivities popping up.
Potentially, yes.
And then from there, it suggests a progression to wider immune system issues and maybe even autoimmunity.
hmm The diagram they show is really helpful here. It lays out the steps, triggers gut inflammation,
Hmm.
food intolerances,
Mm.
immune system getting sort of dysregulated, and then potentially autoimmunity, where the immune system attacks the body itself.
It's like a chain reaction.
It really depicts it as one.
So once this stuff, undigested food, toxins, gets into the bloodstream, what happens? The presentation says the immune system attacks it, causing inflammation in different parts of the body.
Exactly. The body's defenses fire up, and inflammation is a key part of that response. The illustration gets into the nitty-gritty. You see the leaky junctions, the molecules passing through, the immune cells like IgA, B cells, T cells getting involved.
And that same illustration points to the potential outcomes. Nutrient malabsorption because the gut's damaged, autoimmunity, food intolerance, even issues with the blood-brain barrier, and that systemic body-wide inflammation. It really shows how leaky gut can spread its effects far and wide.
It really does. Which leads straight into the next big idea. Inflammation at the root of most diseases. That's a bold statement.
Very bold. And they distinguish between acute inflammation like tonsillitis, a sprained ankle, a headache, that sort of thing.
Right, the short-term necessary response to injury or infection,
Yeah.
your body healing itself.
And chronic inflammation. That's
Yeah.
where they list things like arthritis, atherosclerosis, hardening of the arteries, bowel diseases, joint problems, skin issues.
Exactly. This long-term, low-level simmering inflammation, that's what's increasingly seen as a major driver behind many chronic conditions.
So leaky gut might lead to this chronic inflammation. The presentation then asks directly, what's the connection? And visually links leaky gut, autoimmune disease, inflammation, digestion with a big question mark. It's pushing us to connect the dots.
And to really underline the seriousness, they bring in that Time magazine cover, The Secret Killer, with the subheadline linking inflammation to heart attacks, cancer, Alzheimer's. It makes it very real.
You can't really ignore a time cover like that. And then it gives specific examples, inflammation in the arterial walls, atherosclerosis, heart disease, or stroke, with a visual of plaque buildup narrowing an artery. Very clear.
Yep, that link is well established. Chronic inflammation in artery walls contributes to that plaque, restricts blood flow, increases risk. Standard medical understanding now.
Then inflammation in the lining of the gut, irritable bowel syndrome, ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease, showing the visual difference between a healthy gut and inflamed ones in those conditions.
Those are classic inflammatory bowel diseases. The immune system attacks the digestive tract, causing chronic inflammation and all the associated problems.
For the lungs, inflammation in the lungs asthma, showing the difference between a clear airway and one constricted by inflammation during an attack.
Asthma is fundamentally about chronic airway inflammation. Makes the airways super sensitive, prone to narrowing.
Even oral health. Inflammation in the gums, periodontal disease, comparing healthy gums to inflamed ones where tissue and bone breakdown affects your teeth.
Yep. Gum disease is basically chronic inflammation around the teeth, can lead to serious damage, even tooth loss if it progresses.
And inflammation in the blood vessels equals vasculitis, showing inflamed vessels, affected skin. It mentions how vasculitis can hit loads of different organs: nervous system, heart, gut, joints, skin, eyes, lungs, because blood vessels go everywhere.
Exactly. Vasculitis symptoms can be incredibly varied depending on which vessels and which organs are inflamed.
And finally, inflammation in the joints arthritis, with pictures of normal joints versus those with osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis showing the inflammation and damage. So common.
Arthritis is a perfect example of chronic inflammation hitting the musculoskeletal system. Pain, stiffness, reduced mobility. Affects millions.
Okay, so after building this really strong case about inflammation, the presentation shifts focus a bit to antacids and antibiotics, calls them two friends we start a lifelong journey with, next to a picture of someone holding loads of pills. Feels like a bit of a warning sign.
It's a provocative way to put it, yeah. They're vital medicines, obviously, but maybe we overuse them or don't fully grasp the downsides of long-term use. It includes that quote attributed to Dr. Robin Chetkin. After 5 days on antibiotics, your gut bacteria will be wiped out, and it could take years to come back. That's pretty stark.
It really is. We hear so much now about the microbiome, all those gut bacteria being crucial for health, digestion, immunity, even mood. The idea that just 5 days of antibiotics could knock it out for potentially years, that's something to think about.
Absolutely. Antibiotics are lifesavers for bacterial infections, but they don't distinguish good bacteria from bad. Wiping out the good guys can have knock-on effects. The presentation also flags regular use of NSAIDs, things like Advil, aspirin, Motrin, saying they can damage the gut lining, possibly leading to that leaky gut we talked about.
Wow, so common painkillers, if taken often, could actually contribute to the problem that fuels inflammation. That's important to know.
It is. It suggests maybe we shouldn't just pop them without thinking, especially long-term.
Then they show those news headlines.
Uh,
Deccan Chronicle. Prolonged use of antacids may double stomach cancer risk.
that's serious. It definitely highlights potential risks with long-term, unmonitored use of antacids. Needs careful consideration and probably discussion with a doctor.
And The Guardian. People taking heartburn drugs could have higher risk of death, study claims, specifically mentioning proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, having a higher risk than other antacids or none at all. That's quite a claim.
Again, it underlines that even common medications can have significant, maybe unexpected, long-term effects.
Yeah.
It's about being informed, understanding risks versus benefits.
And it wraps this section with that cyclical diagram. Leaky gut potentially leading to autoimmune issues, allergies, cancer, IBS, heart disease, Alzheimer's, diabetes, and factors like pain meds, antibiotics, acidic drinks, alcohol, GMO foods feeding into leaky gut, creating this cycle of pain and inflammation. It ties it all together visually.
Yeah, it really shows that negative feedback loop. Compromised gut triggers problems. Problems maybe worsen the gut issues. Breaking the cycle is key.
So after all that doom and gloom almost, the presentation asks, so where's the solution?
Right, time for some hope.
And the answer points towards nature. Nature is so smart, it put the medicine inside the food. Lovely image of fruit there. It's a nice shift in tone.
It links back to that investment idea.
Yeah.
Eating whole foods isn't just fuel. It's giving your body the actual compounds it needs to function well to heal itself, including the gut.
It also mentions an hour spent in nature is the best medicine for an anxious mind, which tackles the stress factor we discussed earlier, a big contributor to gut issues.
Totally. The mind-gut connection is undeniable. Managing stress is huge for gut health, and nature is a known stress buster.
And then that famous Hippocrates quote, "Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food," with fresh greens pictured, really hammers home the power of diet. Timeless advice.
Couldn't be more relevant today.
So this sets up the next section, focusing on specific natural remedies for digestion, starting with mint. Great flavor, palate cleanser, sure, but also promotes digestion and soothes the stomach.
Mint's got a long history for digestive relief. Compounds in it can relax gut muscles, ease gas, indigestion. It works.
Next, clove. Adds flavor, yes, but also aids the digestive process by stimulating the secretion of digestive enzymes. So it actively helps break food down.
That's the idea. Certain compounds in cloves can trigger enzyme production, potentially leading to more efficient digestion.
Then ginger. Called the universal spice in Ayurveda, good for upper and lower digestion, balances all three doshas. That's fascinating traditional insight.
Ginger's huge in Ayurveda.
Mm-hmm.
And modern science backs up a lot of it. Anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, gut-soothing effects. Really versatile.
Cumin also gets highlighted. Helps regulate digestion, treat problems, relieve gas, calls it a carminative. Improves appetite too, thanks to essential oils and minerals. Seems like a multitasker.
Yeah, cumin's another traditional favorite. Stimulates digestive juices, reduces bloating, generally supportive.
Then cardamom, used traditionally in Ayurveda, Chinese medicine, and the Unani system for gut issues. That widespread use across different cultures says something,
It
right?
really does.
Yeah.
It suggests consistent observation of its benefits over centuries and across the globe.
Coriander next, staple in Indian cooking, spice and garnish, but also medicinal globally source of potassium, iron, vitamins A, K, C, folic acid, magnesium, calcium, a nutritional powerhouse, basically.
Absolutely. More than just flavor. It packs a nutritional punch and has compounds that can support digestion and overall health.
Turmeric, of course. Adding it can support a healthy gut, prevent intestinal problems. That bright yellow color just screams healthy.
Turmeric's famous for curcumin, its active compound. Potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. Really beneficial for keeping the gut environment healthy.
Basil is mentioned for helping with sluggish digestion, promoting easier bowel movements, keeping things moving.
Especially holy basil or tulsi, traditionally used for regularity and digestive comfort, believed to help stimulate gut motility.
And tea gets a mention too, specifically a 2006 study where black tea extract helped prevent pancreatitis in rats by calming down key digestive enzymes. That's quite specific.
Interesting finding. Suggests compounds in black tea might help protect the pancreas, which is crucial for digesting fats and carbs.
Lemon juice in warm water helps digestion, regulates bowel movement. A classic morning ritual for many.
Yep, the acidity can stimulate stomach acid production, plus it can help get the bowels moving. Simple, but potentially effective.
And finally, rock salt. Improves digestion, relieves stomach pain naturally, even used traditionally for infections and deworming.
Wow. Some traditional systems believe unprocessed salts like rock salt offer more than just sodium trace minerals that might aid digestion, different from table salt.
Okay, so that's a really impressive list of herbs and foods for digestion. But then the presentation introduces something else, Ganoderma, Reishi mussum.
Ah, yes, Reishi.
Labeled the most powerful immunity booster with natural antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal properties. That's a huge claim.
It is a strong claim, yes. Reishi has a massive history in traditional Eastern medicine, and there's a lot of ongoing research into its immune-modulating effects and other benefits.
The names are amazing too. Chinese Lingzi, herb of spiritual potency. Japanese manantake, 10,000-year-old mushroom. Speaks volumes about its historical reputation, right? Longevity, vitality.
Absolutely. These names show the deep respect it held for centuries, linked to long life and well-being.
It even mentions a possible link between the Chinese Z and the Indian Soma legend. Fascinating historical connection.
It hints at how these ancient ideas about powerful natural substances might have traveled and influenced each other.
And it grows beyond Asia, found in the Amazon too. Grows on specific trees, wild form is rare, adds to the mystique.
Definitely. Its rarity in the wild contributed to its value and spurred efforts to cultivate it.
Then they list titles for DXN Ganoderma, king of detoxifiers, antioxidants, anti-aging, herbs, adaptogens. Quite the royal resume.
Haha. Yeah, those terms capture the main benefits often associated with Ganoderma: fighting stress, detoxification support, helping the body adapt. Covers a lot of bases.
Gets into specifics too. Reishi limiting an enzyme, beta-glucuronidase, that's high in liver problems like inflammation, cirrhosis. Suggests liver support.
Right, that offers a more scientific angle on its traditional use for liver health, potential protective effects.
And a PBS NewsHour piece mentioned a study suggesting reishi might positively alter gut bacteria. That brings it right back to our main topic.
Exactly. That's a key link.
Yeah.
It suggests reishi might work partly by improving the gut microbiome itself.
Plus, in a Mamji Food article on a 2013 study where reishi reversed chemical liver damage in mice. More research pointing to therapeutic potential.
Animal studies like that are important first steps. They give clues about how it might work, leading to human research.
And easy health options, calling it the granddaddy of gut health,
Yeah.
used in Chinese medicine for over 2,000 years, reinforces that long tradition for digestive wellness.
It really highlights that deep historical knowledge base surrounding reishi and gut health.
And one more study, 2015, Haiwan reishi extract promoted good gut bacteria in mice on a poor diet. More evidence for its positive influence on the microbiome, even under dietary stress.
Adds weight to the idea that reishi can help foster a healthier gut environment by encouraging beneficial microbes.
Okay, so we've got all these individual herbs plus the powerhouse Ganoderma. Then the presentation asks, what happens if you combine them?
The synergy question.
Right. First, it shows all the herbs, mint, clove, ginger, cumin, etc., saying, all these herbs are so useful for our digestion, a reminder of their individual roles.
Reinforces that idea of using a variety of natural things to support digestion in different ways.
But then comes the question. Just imagine what miracle will happen if all these meet together with King of Herbs, and it shows the herbs visually combined with Ganoderma. It's hinting at something bigger, right? A combined effect.
Exactly. That concept of synergy where 1 plus 1 equals more than 2. Combining these traditional digestive aids with the potential broad benefits of Ganoderma might offer more comprehensive support than any single ingredient alone.
And it ends with that simple, engaging question. Your gut will smile or not? Next to a happy gut image, and the herbs plus Ganoderma combo. A nice, memorable takeaway.
Yeah, it's a clear call to action. Think about how these natural approaches could make your gut, and by extension, you feel better.
So wrapping up, we've really journeyed through this deep connection between gut health and, well, pretty much everything else. Immunity, mood, chronic disease risk. We've looked at potential issues like leaky gut and the promising role of natural remedies, especially Ganoderma and those supportive
The
herbs.
great overview really drives home that the gut is central command, not just a food processor.
Yeah.
And that idea of health as an investment,
Mm.
it empowers you to be proactive.
Absolutely. And speaking of support, we really want to give a sincere thank you to London Heartbeat Z Academy UK for their educational support, which made this deep dive possible.
Here, here.
If this sparked your interest, we definitely encourage you to check out London Heartbeat Z Academy's huge range of courses. They have over 150 popular ones, and you can stay in the loop with free updates and make sure you don't miss future discussions by subscribing to London Heartbeat Z Academy on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
It's a great resource for digging deeper into health and wellness topics like this one. The information today gives a solid foundation.
It really does. And as we finish up, here's something to think about. Knowing what you know now about how far-reaching your gut's influence is, what's just one small thing, one tiny change you could make starting today to start nurturing that vital ecosystem inside you?
Doesn't have to be huge.
Exactly. Maybe it's adding a slice of ginger to your water, or brewing some mint tea tonight, or just taking a few deep breaths to manage stress. Even those small, consistent steps, they can really add up for the health and happiness of your gut and ultimately for you.